Here I am, bigSHow theGod. Being pretty good, feeling good, exercising a bit, all the basics. My topic with this one was just to document a little bit about there's a little bit of self-awareness here about when I read something, how I think about it and how I break it down and analyze it and cross-reference it to how I think, and then what goes on for me in those thoughts. So I guess I'll just show you this. So here's a statement here that I read online. Empathy. So we go with empathy. Might just write it out again. Empathy. And if you read the example, when you plant lettuce, if it does not grow well, you don't blame the lettuce. You look for a reason it is not doing well. It may need fertilizer, water, more sun, less sun. And here's where we get a little interesting. You never blame the lettuce. And that's kind of where the lettuce analogy goes. It's kind of empathy versus, it's kind of more empathy versus blame, I'd say. Okay, so let's do that. And then you never blame them. Yet, if we have problems with our friends, family, or other humans, we blame the other person. Well, instead of we, that's a group of people, but I blame. But if we know how to take care of them, they will grow well, like the lettuce. So now we're getting a little bit hodgepodgey. Blaming has no positive effect at all. I'll agree with that. On the positive perspective. But to say it has no effect at all is not true. It has an effect, but no positive effect. And I buy into that to a degree. So that's cool. Nor does trying to persuade using reason and argument. You see, you're using scientific terms there, and now you're losing me. So you're losing me there, and then you go, that is my experience. Okay, so it's an opinion. It's like, on persuade using reason and argument, that is my experience. To be fair, had those experiences as well. That is my experience. So experience doesn't mean the process was not effective, right? Because you would have had experiences where you have persuaded using reason and argument. See, the argument is probably, if I reframe that word, it's like debate. I refer argument as debate as if your argument is flawed and has no evidence behind it, then it's just words. So using reason, well, reason is kind of attached to logic. Reason has to have evidence as well. So both those, reason and argument, with evidence, you're persuading using evidence. You look for, go back to the top bit, you look for reason it is not doing well. Well, that's using evidence. Fertilizer, more water, those are evidential things. Same thing.
That's two COVID meetings, the 2 staff that are left.
Yeah.
Got one sorted. The second with this next one shouldn't be too bad. It's the other one. It's been pushing back.
All right, you all right?
Yeah. It's just uncomfortable, that's all.
Fair enough.
Once it's done, I'll be fine.
All right.
And I've got Cyclone coming back on this afternoon at 3 o'clock to finish what they're supposed to do, or do what they're supposed to do. I don't know who the guy was that they got. Probably one of our clients, because we've got one place there.
Right.
Probably the bloody autism boy. Oh. How did your meeting go this morning?
Yeah, it was good.
That was your main one, eh?
Yeah. This might be a little bit of a head muck for you. What did you have you read this before? I read it a few times.
I just saw it on Facebook. I didn't read it all.
I was just whinging about it.
Yeah, I started reading and then I got out of bed.
Oh, I was just doing a podcast and I was just recording how I process that. But I'd be interested in how you process that. I mean, I've given a bit of a thing on it.
What it did remind me of is my brothers and sisters.
Yeah.
It did.
So I get the context.
They're going back to the source.
Yes.
Yeah.
So I get the context of never blame. You don't blame the letters, right? But I don't know about you, but blaming has no positive effect at all. I'm on board with that. It's not positive, but it does have an effect. Okay, but
Well, it's really right. It doesn't have a positive effect. It has a negative effect.
well, it has an effect.
Yeah.
Negative, all sorts of shit, but it's not primarily positive. Nor does trying. This is where I get lost. Nor is trying to persuade using reason and argument. See that those are scientific terms. I look at reason as, well, you need evidence for reason, and argument is debate. So if me and you debate something, you have to have, your argument has to have some evidence to it.
See, I don't agree with that either.
That's what I mean.
If you understand and you show that you understand. Well, I've been doing that in all these meetings and it's making no difference at all.
So no argument.
No.
Just understanding. If you understand and you show that you understand, you can love. What the fuck?
Know.
And the situation will change.
I think that's why I stopped reading.
There you go.
Because I was like, oh, now this doesn't make sense. Yeah.
Yes.
I got the top bit.
Top bit, reasonable.
But if you look at the situations I'm having now, we've shown every understanding, but we're still getting shit.
Yeah. But even then, the understanding, what they're trying to say is, well, reason and thing won't work in your argument. Just understanding everything. No. I'll tell you what works. Is actions. Get things done. The lettuce doesn't have a choice if we put more water on it.
No. It'll live.
So if it complains and says, oh, I don't want the water, well, it's going to die. Now what? You're not even giving a solution with understanding. That's all.
Yeah, no. Well, that's a little bit over the top.
And it was kind of old. That's what I don't like about old.
It is old.
Old thing. It's like reading the Bible.
Yeah.
They go, oh, see this lettuce story? And I go, yeah, I got you there, but now you've lost me with this.
It did come from the Bible.
Probably. So there you go. The wife chimed in. I was interesting just to listen to her perspective too, because sometimes I might have been missing it. But anyway, so that's how I think through these sorts of statements that come out all the time. And right or wrong, the words matter, right? And as you can see what I was doing there, I was looking at the words, and your words need to be translated to what they mean to me or you. I'll call him back. So yeah, so that's kind of gotten sidetracked a little bit. So we go back to, so I read that, and then how I think when I read it. So I bring in events and experiences because I want to learn from it, right? And I struggle. I don't struggle. Here I am breaking down parts of that statement that I'm struggling with. Okay. The so-called solution in here, in using empathy, I don't disagree with empathy. Understanding, well, it's helpful for me to understand. But, you know, the lettuce will not grow better if I just understand. In this analogy, it's going to grow better with more water or more sun or whatever the fuck it was. So the analogy kind of gets lost a little bit. So I get the premise of this. And this might be where I have an issue myself, is that I've gone and taken it out of context, which I don't think I am. And the reason I don't think I am is when you try and wrap things down, when you wrap by, just because it's your experience to not persuade or convince people with reason, argument, which I would then go debate, and evidence-based reasoning, evidence-based arguments, right? They still have to be, they still have to be scrutinized, right? How else are you going to do it? What's the way then? Because right now the lettuce doesn't have to make a choice. If it gets water, it grows. Right? If I get oxygen, I live. If I stop living, I've got no oxygen. I ain't much fucking use to you. I'm the same boat as the lettuce without oxygen. So yeah, this has gone banded around, and then you can say with empathy you can love. I think it's just empathy just helps you get around yourself. From my take on this is understanding does, for me anyway, support empathy. Doesn't mean I agree with any of it, and I would argue I don't think it's much of a solution. It's just understanding. Well, then understanding, then get some actions going. But then no reasoning, no arguments. You're taking out a lot, because obviously the evidence ain't enough. Well, the lettuce isn't growing very well. We'll put some water on it. Then we're going to say, well, no, because the lettuce doesn't want the water, or it's not utilizing the water, right? You're watering it a lot. It's still not growing. So you've got plenty of water, plenty of fertilizer, plenty of fucking sun, right amount of sun, right amount of thing. Now what? Now where are we? Well, now the lettuce See, the problem with this analogy is the lettuce isn't trying to change, isn't trying to improve from being a lettuce. Half the human condition is to continue to improve where you are now. A perfectly good lettuce is a perfectly good lettuce. Right. Now, we can sit here right now as a human and go, well, we want to improve more than we are. Well, more food ain't gonna fucking help. More fucking thing, more that. You get the same stuff. So now you're having to push yourself more, right? So yeah. So that was a good one. I quite enjoyed documenting that. But I'll